Need help changing your life with fibromyalgia? This is Lives Changed with your host, Deborah Lundquist. Through knowledge and prayer, Deb has learned to live with this difficult and often misdiagnosed disease. Get spiritual and good practical advice for achieving good health and acceptance while living with fibromyalgia. So now, please welcome the host of Lives Changed, Deborah Lundquist.
Welcome to Lives Changed, a show about fibromyalgia and, as such, other chronic pain. I'm Deb Lundquist, your host. I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. In 1999, I had a life-changing experience myself. I had a death-defying car accident in which all the emergency people told me that I should have died, but God had other plans. It was rather interesting, actually, as I had the accident, and then when I opened the door, everybody just froze in place. One guy even had his leg up in the air, and it was like I was in a bubble, and everybody was just standing there, frozen in place. I got out. And I looked in the back because my arm was bright red, like it was bleeding. And I had a bright, almost maroon-like triangle over the radial head over my radial head. And so I thought my arm was bleeding. So I went into the back of the car, and I thought I had a sweater there. I was going to wrap it around my arm. And, of course, I didn't have anything. And when I turned around, everybody was still standing in the same position, even the guy with his leg up. It was all very strange. So then I walked over to a gentleman and asked if I could use his phone. And then everybody started racing around. It was all very strange. So anyway, I'm rattling on like this because I'm trying to find my mouse. Anyway, I acquired RSD CRPS at that time. And I still haven't found my mouse, but that's okay. We will continue. And which is the worst pain known to man, according to the McGill pain chart. And when the doctors put that to sleep, we discovered I have fibromyalgia as well as several other chronic pain and autoimmune diseases. I do need to say I am not a doctor or in the medical field in any way. I'm a patient, just like you. What I share with you, I've learned through extensive research, interviews with a multitude of doctors who have given me materials not available to the normal patient, and living with the disease for over 19 years. Let me give you some other places you can find me. On Facebook, you will see me on YOUR, Y-O-U-R, Fibromyalgia, a support group for fibromyalgia and other chronic pain. And I have a website, and that address is https://DebLundquist.com. That's my name, DebLundquist.com, where I've written articles for patients, family members, caregivers, and doubters, and even disbelievers. And now I have 2 fun quizzes about fibromyalgia. One is rather easy. The other one makes you think a little bit. I also have a story of my life and how I got the disease, access to the radio show with a listing of what each show is about, access to all of the natural nutritional products I use and sell, and there is a work-from-home opportunity for both products there as well. I also have products that I'm developing along the way. So if you have anyone who would like to know more about fibromyalgia, this is a really good place to send them. You can also call me personally. excuse me, at 815-214-9443. Again, that's 815-214-9443. And that is my Google number. And you can leave me a message. Excuse me, it's harvest. And so, that gets to me every time. But that rings into my personal phone. And so I will get a message on my phone. I will also get a message on Google. So please leave me a message and I will answer you back. Also, good news, my book about RSD CRPS from a patient's perspective is now available finally on Amazon. Right now, it's available as an ebook. So look it up under Kindle. First go to books and then look at Kindle and look up the title, RSD CRPS from a patient's perspective. The price is $24.99. The next thing I like to do is affirmations. First time I do it, I say them and I tell you why. And the second time I do it, we will go through them together and say them out loud. I am not alone. And we're not alone. There are 10 million, they estimate, of adults who have fibromyalgia in the United States. And that is really a low number because they don't include children or teens, the misdiagnosed, the underdiagnosed. They don't include our military heroes who come back from war with PTSD who are then diagnosed with fibromyalgia. They say 20 million worldwide, but when you look at the United States compared to the world, and they say 10 million for the U.S., 20 million seems like a ridiculous number, don't you think? I am beautiful, or handsome as the case may be. Now, if you haven't written these down, please do so. Now, if they are discovering that our heroes, and most of them are male, are coming back with PTSD and then being diagnosed with fibromyalgia, their eyes have opened and they've discovered, oh my, men can get fibromyalgia. Who knew? And so that ratio is changing. It's no longer 4-1 in favor of women. The last statistic I saw, it was more like 3-2. So it's no longer just a woman's disease. Sorry, women, we can no longer claim this just as ours. Not that we really want to. I am loved, and oh my gosh, yes, we are. A lot of us lose our families, our blood families. But what we have to do is create families of our own, those that we can love and they can love us for who we are. A lot of times we lose our families because they knew us before and they can't accept us for who we are now. The ones we pick for our families now, they accept us for who we really are now. And so those are the ones that we really want, right? And some of our family members will stay with us, and we're blessed to have those. And so those, our families that we have now really do love us. Plus, our fibro families absolutely adore us. And if you're not a part of the fibro community, you need to become part of a fibro community, which means you need to become a part of a fibro support group. Not one that whines all the time, but one that actually gives you support. So I suggest you join your fibromyalgia and you'll see there is a lot of support in that group. I don't allow arguing or attacking of any kind. All right, the next one is, I am needed. Oh my gosh, you are so needed. We are needed by our families. That need has never gone away. And we are needed by the fibromyalgia community in a very bad way. And they need us and we need them. It's very important to realize that. And going along with that, I still have a purpose. And we do have a purpose, a very important purpose. We still have the purpose we had before. We may not be able to do all the things we did, but we still have a purpose. And we have a purpose within the fibromyalgia community. And that leads to I am important. Oh my heavens, are we important? You know, we're still important to our families, and we are important within the fibromyalgia community. So very important because we are needed. We are needed. We are a voice within the fibromyalgia community. And with over 10 million of us, we can be a very loud voice. Can you imagine 10 million of us speaking? That's a loud voice. Then I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to look in your beautiful eyes, and I want you to say to yourself, I love you. Because you need to learn how to love yourself again. I have an article on deblundquist.com about learning to love yourself, and on show 40 and 41 I talk about why it's important. And once you learn to love yourself again, you're not going to let anybody, no doctor, no physical therapist, nobody walk on you again. You're going to tell them to stop when it hurts too much. You're not going to let them continue to hurt you. Okay? Then I am a survivor. And yes, you are if you're listening. And that means you're a warrior because we fight this every single day of our lives. And then I am still me. You know, the outer part of our bodies is just a shell. It's just a shell. Think about it. But the inside, your soul, is so to speak, that is still you. That has never changed. So the essence of you is still there. We might not be able to do everything we did before. We're disabled. We have to realize that, and we have to just take steps a little bit at a time. Okay, we know that, but we are still the same person inside that we've always been. And then I am unique. There is no one else like me anywhere in the world. That makes me not only special, that makes me powerful. And if identical twins aren't alike, and they aren't, and you know they aren't, then there isn't anybody else like you anywhere in the world. You're unique. You were created, and the mold was thrown away. All right, let's say these together. You say them out loud with me. I am not alone. I am beautiful or handsome. I am loved. I am needed. I still have a purpose. I am important. I love you. And I say it every week, and I mean it with the bottom of my heart. I do love you guys, or I wouldn't do this radio show. I am a survivor. That makes me a warrior. I am still me. I am unique. There is no one else like me anywhere in the world. That makes me not only special, that makes me powerful. And you know, folks, that is a gift from God. And He's given you special talents and special, I don't want to say powers, but special talents and skills that nobody else has. Some of you can draw, some of you can write, some of you can do other things. Some of you are good listeners, you know, that kind of thing, and other things. And I didn't discover what mine was until after my accident. And then, all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, I was given all kinds of skills I didn't know I had. You'll find your skills once you discover that how to live with fibromyalgia, and once you get to the acceptance stage of the disease. Just don't waste it. Well, it's Saturday again. I can't believe how fast time goes. So what is the weather where you live? Well, it's gotten warm again here, and the humidity is back, and harvest is a-going. They are out in the field, it's dry, and the dust and mold is flying. So, a lot of allergy and asthma sufferers are really having problems. So, if that is you and your chest is hurting, go see your doctor because they can help you with that. Don't just sit at home and worry that you're having a heart attack or something. Go see your doctor. See if it's asthma, see if it's allergies. If your heart checks out okay and you aren't suffering from allergies or asthma, ask if you have costochondritis because a lot of people are coming up with that recently. That is something that maybe you should check out. Do you have your drink ready and are you in your comfy clothes? Good. Then let's start to have a nice, relaxing hour together, continuing our discussion on IC. We are going to continue that discussion today, and it is going to be a discussion, an in-depth discussion about IC, which I have researched and researched and researched, and I want to give you the source again because I promised I would, and I've been giving it to you every week. The source is Interstitial Cystitis Association. And it should say Conquering IC, Changing Lives. This is an excellent source. It's one that I have taken word for word and am using in this show so that you can look it up and use it yourself. I think that it is awesome. They will help you find a good doctor in your area. They will help you find a support group. I've never really seen a site this well prepared, even my own. So the site is https://www.I, C as in cat, H as in hat, L as in Lucy, P as in Peter, .org/. I'll say it again. https://www.ic as in cat, H as in hat, L as in Lucy, P as in Peter, .org/. Now, shall we continue on? The newly diagnosed Toolkit, Conquering IC, Changing Lives, Interstitial Cystitis Association, the helpful toolkit points patients use. Physical therapists also use a variety of devices to help you learn to relax your pelvic floor or to treat your pelvic pain directly. I might have said some of this last week, but we're going to go over it and then move on. Biofeedback uses electrodes placed on your body or on the perineum and or the area around the anus, or probes inserted in the vagina or rectum to sense how tense or relaxed your pelvic floor muscles are and display the results on a computer or other device. You know, there really isn't any other way to figure this out. Excuse me, it might sound kind of awful, but there really isn't any other way to figure it out. These cues can help you learn to relax those muscles. You may be able to buy or rent a unit to use at home, and that would be pretty awesome. Electrical stimulation stimulates your pelvic floor muscles directly through a small probe inserted into the vagina or rectum. This may help desensitize nerves or even cause muscles to contract and relax. Stimulation through electrodes placed on your body may be used to calm pains and spasms. These units can also be used at home. Interferential therapy is a kind of electrical stimulation delivered from electrodes placed on the skin. The impulses interfere with each other at the point of pain deep in the tissues and can replace and relieve the sensations of spasms. These units can also be used at home. So these are really nice things if you can get them at home. Ultrasound uses high-frequency sound waves applied through a wand or probe on your skin to produce an internal image or help treat pain. Real-time ultrasound can let you see your pelvic floor muscles functioning, and you can learn to relax them. Therapeutic ultrasound uses sound waves to produce deep warmth that may help reduce spasms and increase blood flow, or on a non-thermal setting may promote healing and reduce inflammation. Newer ultrasound devices administer low-frequency, low-intensity waves and again can be used at home. Cold laser applies low-intensity laser light to the tissue and may help with pain, inflammation, and wound healing. Some devices have FDA approval for temporary relief of minor muscle aches, joint pain, stiffness, and for relaxation of muscle spasm and increased local blood flow where they are trapped or pinched by muscles. Find a knowledgeable PT. Many physicians who treat IC now work with PTs who are experienced in IC and pelvic pain treatment techniques. The ICA and other organizations can help you find a qualified PT as well. So please go to their site to find a qualified PT in your area. Health insurance benefits for physical therapy for IC and pelvic floor dysfunction vary. The good news is that insurance coverage is improving. Before you start therapy, find out whether your plan covers it and ask what diagnosis it will pay for. For example, some may pay for therapy for pelvic pain, but not for IC. It can also help to check the state laws. So here is what I suggest. Find out what they'll pay for, and then have your therapist or your doctor use those terms instead of, IC. If it won't cover IC, then have them say pelvic pain. I know it's tricky. It isn't lying. You just have to play the insurance company's games. For example, although California requires HMOs to pay for many services, you may need to remind the HMO of these requirements. In addition, some PTs do not participate in insurance plans, and you may be required to pay out of pocket and submit the bills to the insurance company yourself for reimbursement. If you have to pay out of pocket entirely, one way to keep your costs down is to ask for your PT to train you to do home treatments, and then do them. Don't go home and not do them. If you want to improve, you have to do the therapies. Your physical conditioning, muscle tension, posture, alignment, nutrition, and urinary bowel habits can all play a role in pelvic pain. That's why your PT will teach you things to do at home that build on the therapies not done in the offices. Because the main goal of therapy for IC patients is to learn to control and especially relax the pelvic floor. Your PT may teach you general relaxation techniques, stretches for the leg and back muscles, how to maintain good posture, and visualization. Part of learning to sense your pelvic floor muscles and to relax them. Some PTs may show you, and even a partner, how to massage muscles and treat trigger points both externally and internally with a finger or an appropriate tool. And I'll tell you, when I had endometriosis and I would go into a spasm, Bob had to learn how to go in and release that spasm with the finger internally. They were horrible. Biofeedback or other instruments can also be a part of a home treatment program. As you progress, the PT may give you strengthening exercises for any weak muscles in your core or extremities. However, Kegel exercises are not appropriate in the beginning for IC patients. But after you learn to relax your pelvic floor, your therapist may teach you Kegel-like exercises to help you learn to control your pelvic floor muscles. Physical therapists can also teach your bladder and bowel retraining techniques to help you control and reduce urgency, frequency, and incomplete emptying. They can help you make dietary changes to avoid bladder irritants and constipation and to maintain good nutrition. They can also tell you how best to use heat and cold for comfort. Now, there are also complementary therapies, and most often they're used to treat interstitial cystitis symptoms, including biofeedback, diet-based therapies, herbal therapies, massage, yoga, Pilates. I never thought of Pilates. So the abbreviation CAM refers to healthcare systems, practices, and products that are not part of the conventional medicine treatment approaches. Complementary is practitioners using, along with conventional medicines, they use dietary supplements. Peter Ralph E. Lucy I.E. Frank to reduce IC symptoms in conjunction with the conventional IC therapy. Elmeron, that's E. Lucy, Man, I, Ralph, O, Nancy, is an example of this. Then there's alternative medicine in place of conventional medicine care. Using acupuncture alone to treat IC with no other conventional therapies is an example of using alternative medicine. Herbs, dietary supplements, and biologicals is a type of natural plant-based substances. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration considered these therapies to be dietary supplements and not medicines. An anti-yeast diet, dietary supplements, diet-based therapies, herbs and other products from plants, enzymes, etc. Medical marijuana, cannabis, probiotics. Then there's mind-body medicine. It focuses on how the mind and body interact. Examples of mind-body medicine used by people with IC include art therapy, guided imagery, hypnosis, mindful meditation, movement therapies, music therapies, Pilates, I know I don't say that right, prayer, support groups, which are so helpful, Tai Chi, writing therapy, and yoga. Then there's massage, manipulation, and body-based practices. These types of therapies involve a hands-on approach, physically working with the body. There's Alexander technique, chiropractic manipulation, massage therapy, osteopathic manipulation, physical therapy, which we've already talked about, reflexology, and that's using the bottom of your feet, your hands, and your ears. Traeger, psychophysical integration. Energy medicine leverages the concept that all people have subtle energy fields within them that they emit. Practitioners of energy medicine believe that a disturbance in these energy fields causes disease. So that includes acupuncture, acupressure, biofeedback, energy healing therapy, magnet therapy, Qigong, therapeutic touch. Then there's oral medication, and like I said, one of them is Elmeron. Then there's bladder installation. Now, that is the American Urological Association's practice guidelines for IC indicates bladder installations as a second-line treatment option when diet modification, stress management, and over-the-counter products are not enough. Bladder installations or bladder cocktails are mixtures of medicines put directly into the bladder. Types of installations include alkalinized lidocaine and heparin, DMSO, sodium hyaluronate, I probably blew the pronunciation of that, heparin, bladder cocktails, and new installations are under development. The third line of treatment is cystoscopy with hydrodistension. Although interstititis is generally diagnosed by the exclusion of other conditions, along with the hallmark symptom, pain, There are cases where an additional test is needed. Cystoscopy with hydrodistension under anesthesia may be necessary when an IC diagnosis is in doubt and the symptoms are complicated. Complicated cyst symptoms include incontinence or overactive bladder, gastrointestinal problems, blood in the protein in the urine, and gynecologic problems. Cystoscopy with hydrodistension is no longer considered the golden standard in the diagnosis of IC because glomerations can also be seen upon hydrodistension in those without IC symptoms. The degree of severity of the glomerations does not correlate with the severity of IC symptoms. Some people with the symptoms of IC have no glomerations. You say that so many times it gets hard to say. Under general or regional anesthesia, this procedure uses a cystoscope to look inside your bladder after slowly stretching it with hydrodistension. And this allows your physician to see changes inside your bladder that are typical of IC, including the presence of pinpoint-sized red marks on the bladder wall. This procedure also allows doctors to see Huyner's ulcers, or patches, which are present in a small number of people with IC. Now, about this procedure, your doctor will not perform your cystoscopy with hydrodistension in his office. The bladder needs to be filled with high pressure in order to see the typical abnormalities of IC, a procedure that can cause significant pain if you're not if you're not under. In addition, in-office cystoscopy may not reveal the glomerations on your bladder, and the diagnosis of IC can be missed. Cystoscopy with hydrodistension is an outpatient surgical procedure, and you will be admitted to the hospital, but in most cases, you will be discharged the same day as the procedure. Prior to the procedure, you may have basic blood work done, just as you would before any surgery. During the procedure, you will receive general anesthesia. A pelvic region may be numbed by a spinal nerve block. You will not feel any pain during the procedure. Your physician will insert a cystoscope through your urethra into your bladder. The scope, which is fitted with a miniature camera, enables your physician to see the interior surface of your bladder to look for Huyner's ulcers and other abnormalities. Your doctor will first examine your bladder by viewing it through the cystoscope. After the initial cystoscopic examination, your physician will hydrodistend your bladder by filling it with fluid at a low pressure, 60 to 80 centimeters, and keep it full for 1 to 5 minutes before letting the fluid out. This process causes the bladder wall to stretch out, allowing your physician to re-inspect your bladder with the cystoscope. If you have IC, your physician usually sees irritated areas, glomerations on the bladder wall. Also, the hydrodistension allows your doctor to check your bladder capacity under anesthesia. We're going to have to stop there for this week, but this is the end of the show. And so I need to say I am thankful that you watched the show today, and I hope you will return next week. This is Life's Changed, and you can find me on Facebook at YOUR Fibromyalgia. My webpage is https://deblundquist.com. My book is out on Amazon. Look for Kindle and then look up RSD CRPS from a patient's perspective, and it's $24.99. Please remember that you are stronger than you think, and you're not alone. Well, I hope you have a blessed week. I really do appreciate that you tuned into the show. I will see you next week. Goodbye.
You've been listening to Lives Changed with host Deborah Lundquist. Find out each week how Deb can educate, guide, and help you get through the daily challenges of living with fibromyalgia on Deb Lundquist's Lives Changed.